Okay, Nicole, we're talking about estates.
Yes.
I know nothing about estates. All I know is Monopoly.
Mm-hmm.
You can collect go or pass go and collect $200 and you get estates or
Yes.
houses. I know nothing. So what are we talking about? Title?
Title, yep.
Okay.
So you have a seller who dies, dies with a will or without a will. So there's
Okay.
two ways. One is intestate,
Okay.
which is without a will,
Okay.
and then there's testate with a will.
Okay.
So if you own a home, prefix this with, if you own a home, you should always have a will.
Okay, so if you have a house
Mhm.
and you're living the American dream or the American dream, which is the way you pick a fence, 2.5 kids or two, and you buy that home and life happens.
Mm-hmm.
The question is what's going to happen to your children,
Right.
and the will is supposed to protect that. However, all right. So why do you think most people don't have a will? Because isn't it true that most don't?
I do believe that is true. I think a lot of it has to do with the fear of the unknown, the fear of having to solidify what your wishes are.
Yeah, or like maybe even have that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who do you like? How do you even have that conversation?
It's hard.
Like, it's hard enough to. It's hard to do that. It's hard to film a video on it. Like
It
you can't
is.
really think about it. It's a serious topic that needs to be talked about.
Yeah.
So what are some of the pros? Right. So anyone watching this, someday we're all going to get to a point where we're lucky enough to go to the next part of life.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, it's way better than this. I'm excited for that. So if we're lucky enough to do that, and not
Mm-hmm.
stick around for 1,000 years, because who wants to be here that long? What are some of the pros of getting a will?
So, first of all, the main pro would be that you designate who you want to, take property or control things. Say you have 6 kids and, you designate one of those kids as the executor or
Okay.
executrix. So executor would be a male,
Okay.
executrix would be a female. You're designating that person so then your 6 kids aren't fighting over who's controlling what.
Huh. So that's interesting. So if you have 6 children, or even 2 or 3, and you pass,
Mm-hmm.
and there isn't an executor or executee,
Executrix.
well, hold on. Executrix. Who wants to be an executrix? Like, what? That sounds cool. So if there isn't one of those,
Yeah.
and you pass away, you could potentially, because you didn't want to face that, because of course it's scary, like a fight over land or money or who knows.
Yeah.
So if it isn't done, I mean, have that ever happened in your
Absolutely.
life where
All
you had
the
to
time.
deal with?
We deal with it all the time.
And we as in Affinity Title, which is your company, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Family business.
Yep.
So your family is dealing with, unfortunately, the lack of that
Right.
being done with other families.
Mm-hmm.
If you were in their shoes, what do you think you would do? Like, put yourself in their shoes, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would you do differently, knowing, like, based on what you've experienced, right? So what should be done is, I guess, the question.
Contact a lawyer and get a will.
So
Get a will
contact a
drawn up.
lawyer, get a will,
Mhm.
and how does that affect title? Because you're a title company. Is this just
So having a will basically spells out what you want to happen to your property.
Okay.
So one thing that I'd like to mention is
Yeah.
there's something called specific device. So what that means is, say you own 123 Main Street and you want a specific person to have ownership of that. So you put it in your will, I want, Jay to own, to inherit this property. So then when we review the will, it will dictate to us, okay, we have to address this specific property and say it's the property that's being sold. If you didn't want the property, you would need to sign the deed
okay?
acknowledging you have to be joined into that deed to, clear the title.
Okay.
Because if you didn't, and that will stated this specific device, and we didn't address it, that would be a cloud on title. That would be an issue.
And if that's an issue, then basically the entire real estate business is a halt. Like everything, because with the cloud on title, there can't be
You can't,
purchases
that's right.
or sales.
Mhm.
So and just to get, I guess, to introduce that conversation of title. If these, no one knows anything about title, right? But without it,
Right.
the whole process doesn't happen. So we talk about real estate all the time. We'll talk about sales and business development and marketing, and I do videos with people in different fields. Title is one that people don't even really talk about, but it's super important.
Right.
If you were to leave anyone that's watching this right now with like 2 pieces of advice when it comes to understanding title, what would they be?
2 pieces of
Advice. Yeah. From consumer to real estate agent.
I think, for one, a lot of times people don't understand the value of title insurance until they need it. It definitely is something that you don't buy property without.
Okay.
I've seen it where people have transferred property to a friend or a spouse or whoever. We just had this happen the other day where the people inherited the property and they never got title insurance when they transferred it. So there was outstanding liens, outstanding judgments that this person had to pay. I mean, it was a substantial amount of money.
Really?
Yes.
So because the title insurance wasn't acquired previous, the inheritees or tours, what is it? They took it over, and they was a substantial amount of money they had to pay.
Yes.
So
to sell the property.
To actually sell the property. Now, and going back to estates, if there wasn't a will in place, they could have fought over everyone just to get that, correct?
Yep.
And then still to pay all that money. So if you're gonna die, no, I'm kidding. That's messed up. Now, listen, we're all gonna go to a better place. Prior planning prevents poor performance in the context of your family and the legacy you leave behind. So get a will for your estate. Is that correct?
That's right.